In this presentation today, we want to talk about understanding diabetes, causes, symptoms, and prevention. And I'm going to try to make this as very easy for you to understand. The reason why the topic of diabetes is so sensitive to me or so dear to me, you see, I recently lost my mother to diabetes. My mother had, at the end of her life, she had some of the rough patches of diabetes where she even had to get amputations. My mother never wanted to be an amputee. It came down that she was in the process of being an amputee. She got part of her foot amputated, and the same evening she got her foot amputated, my mother passed away from a heart attack. So I want to help as much people as I can with regards to diabetes because I know that diabetes is a very common disease. It's a very common thing that we have in the world today. So I'm going to make it as easy as possible for you to understand. So we're going to try to understand diabetes. We're going to look at some causes. We're going to look at the symptoms, and then we're going to look at how we can do some natural at-home remedies to prevent diabetes from happening. So the first thing we want to know is what exactly is diabetes? So diabetes is a condition where the body cannot properly regulate blood glucose, and that's sugar. Glucose means sugar. So what happens? It occurs when the body doesn't make enough insulin or cannot use insulin effectively. So that basically in a nutshell is what diabetes is. The body is not able to regulate the sugar properly. Sometimes the sugar stays too high, sometimes the sugar stays too low, but the sugar is not being at a constant rate or in a constant range that needs to allow the body to function optimally or in tip-top health. Now, because of all these regulations and spike and high numbers or low numbers with regards to the glucose level, it can cause some problems in the body, and we'll look into that. So now there's two types of diabetes. You have type 1 diabetes and you have type 2 diabetes. So what exactly is type 1 diabetes? So type 1 diabetes is the body produces little or no insulin. Now this is very rare. This is just about 5 to 10% of the cases that you would see with people who are suffering from diabetes. But type 2 diabetes, that's the one where the body becomes resistant to insulin. This one is the more common one. This is the one that affects the majority of people today. Millions of people suffer from type 2 diabetes. And you can see the case study shows it's a 90 to 95% of the cases of people who have that problem. So what are some symptoms? What are some symptoms that you might have or you may be experiencing and you that can show you that possibly that you might have diabetes or make you think that you have diabetes? So if you have frequent urination, if you notice like during the day after you drink water or you drink some juice or something, you run into the bathroom every hour and a half, you just got to keep going. That can be a sign that you're in pre-diabetic or you have diabetes. Now, increased thirst. If you see you're drinking water and then you're still feeling thirsty and you have like your mouth is dry, you're feeling thirst all the time, that's another symptom. Now, increased hunger. Now, increased hunger is a big one because you can just eat a meal. For example, if you eat a meal, for example, you eat a lunch at 12 o'clock and then around 12:45, let's say you eat lunch at 12, you finish eating around 12:30. You take your time, you eat. Most people don't take their time and eat anyway, so I would say you take 15 minutes to eat. So you finish eating around 12:15. And then by 12:30, 12:40, you start feeling cravings and then you start going and snacking. That's a big sign. So you have increased hunger. You're snacking continually. Even throughout the day after you eat meals, you're snacking. That can be a sign. Now, fatigue. This is a big one. Now, fatigue is one where you have a good night's sleep. You're doing your chores during the day, and you notice that after every meal, for example, you had breakfast, after breakfast, you start feeling sluggish and tired. You start feeling like drowsy, like you want to fall asleep. That can be a sign. For example, you had lunch and you're working in an office, and as you sit in the office starting to work, you start feeling very drowsy, very sleepy, and eventually you start falling asleep. You're not enough. That can be another sign. Blurred vision. Now, if you find yourself reading and all of a sudden the writing is getting blurry on and off, blurred vision coming on and off, that can be another symptom as well. And slow healing wounds. Now, slow healing wounds is a very big one. I personally experienced this one in the line of my job that I was doing with wound healing. Um, People have a wound and the wound is taking an actual longer time to heal, and it should heal. The wound is starting to gather like pus or inflammation, or the wound is not closing. Instead of closing, the wound is probably kind of like expanding. So that can be a symptom as well, that it can be prediabetes, most likely diabetes. So the next phase is healthy blood sugar levels. Now, healthy blood sugar levels, this is the fasting blood sugar levels. Now, you do this fast. For example, your doctor, or you can do this at home if you have an at-home blood sugar test kit. These are pretty cheap. You can get one to monitor your sugar at home. I would recommend that you get one if you feel like you have some of these symptoms and signs as well, so you can monitor your sugar to know where you stand. Now, for example, you finish eating your meal early at 6 o'clock, and then you hang out a little bit with your family and friends. Maybe you watch a movie, you go to bed, try to get to bed by 9 o'clock, but you finish eating at 6. Always try to finish eating early. So now you go to bed and you sleep throughout the night. So throughout the night, your body is just in rebuilding mode. And then you wake up in the morning, and the first thing you do in the morning, you make sure you get that 6 to 8 hours sleep. The first thing you do in the morning, you wake up, you test yourself. Now, if you test yourself and you see that your fasting sugar is between 70 to 99, this means that you have a normal sugar level. Note that this sugar level ranges can only be valid for the 8-hour fast. So for the 8-hour fast, you wake up in the morning and you test yourself. If you see that your reading is between 70 to 99, that means that your blood sugar levels are normal. Now, this is after you fasted 8 hours. Remember that you wake up and then you test yourself. Now, here's the thing. You don't just want to do this test once. You want to do it multiple times to see what your accurate reading is or what your range is. So you will know exactly what your range is. Now, if you wake up and then you test yourself, the same thing, you go to bed, same test. You fast for 8 hours, you wake up and you test yourself. If you test yourself multiple times, 3, 4, 5 times, and you see your reading is showing between 100 and 125, that means you have prediabetes. Now, in this stage is where you want to start taking action, because you can always reverse. It's easier for you to reverse your symptoms to get back to normal ranges. So if you're in this range, it means that you're pre-diabetic. I'm going to show you some other numbers just now. So if you jump up now and you test yourself and you're showing up 126 and above or higher after that 8-hour fast in the morning with your test, that means that you have diabetes. Now, something about diabetes. Diabetes is not the end of the world. You can reverse diabetes. You just have to make changes. You know, diabetes, the body can adapt, the body can reverse conditions, the body can fix itself, but you would have to allow the body and put the right fuel into the body, the right things into the body, so that the body can reverse these conditions. Now, this is another test I want to tell you about. It's called the A1C test. Now, many people hear A1C test and they don't really understand what A1C test means, but I'm going to break it down for you pretty easy. Now, the A1C test, also known as the HbA1c, glycated hemoglobin or glycohemoglobin, is when the sugar enters your bloodstream. It attaches to the hemoglobin, a protein in your red blood cells. The A1C test measures the percentage of red blood cells that have sugar attached to them. So, for example, now if you're a pre-diabetic phase or diabetic phase, remember the sugar is just staying in your body. It means that the sugar is not being broken down. So the sugar stays into your body. What happens to this sugar, this excess sugar? This excess sugar attaches to your blood cells. It attaches to them and binds onto them. So now the A1C test measures the percentage of red blood cells that have sugar attached. So that's what the A1C test is testing. That's why the A1C test is a more accurate test to diagnose what category you're falling. Now, it also does, because the red blood cells live for about 3 months, this test gives a reliable long-term picture of your blood sugar control rather than a single moment in time. So the A1C test is done every 3 months. So you would test yourself after 3 months. And when you test yourself, these are your ranges. Now, if you have an A1C test of 5.7 or below, that means that your body is normal. Your body is breaking down that sugar. You don't have the sugar sticking to your red blood cells. That's what the A1C test of 5.7 is showing. If it shows 5.7 to 6.4, that's prediabetes. It means that you're starting to accumulate the sugar on your cells, and that sugar is going to start affecting your body, and it's going to start slowing down metabolism in your body, and your body is going to start producing a little bit more insulin. Now, remember I said that you can reverse these conditions. You just have to do what's right for your body. Now, when you get to 6.5 or higher, that means that you have diabetes. It means that you have a lot of sugar around your red blood cells. Now, you definitely want to take major action to get the sugar off of your red blood cells. Now, remember, your red blood cells is the cells that feed your body with oxygen and nutrients. This is the cell that goes around to your brain, to all the parts of your body, carrying oxygen, carrying nutrients, carrying everything that the body needs, the red blood cells. If the red blood cells can function properly, if something is attached, think of it this way. If you're driving a car on the highway, and the more weight you put on that car, the more fuel that the car has to burn, the more resistant, the harder you have to press the gas pedal for that car to move on. So the body now has to work harder. The heart has to work harder. The kidney has to work harder. The liver has to work harder. The pancreas has to work harder. The brain, everything has to work harder because the red blood cells are coated with so much sugar that the body has to work extremely hard. Things are not flowing smoothly. You start to have blockage. You start to have all kinds of things happening in the body. So you definitely want to start taking the steps to reduce this from happening. Are there steps to help reduce this? Yes, I'll give you some steps at the end of the video. Stick around, you'll see what some of those steps are. So the possible complications. So what are some of the complications as a result of all this sugar in your body, sugar sticking on your red blood cells? So you can have a heart disease. It can lead to stroke, kidney disease, vision loss, nerve damage. Many people suffer with nerve damage, neuropathy, because the small blood cells in the fingers and in the toes, because there's so much sugar on the blood cells, the sugar can't get to the small parts of the body where the small tiny cells are in the eyes, in the fingers, in the toes. And as a result of that, the nerve gets damaged. Case in point, that's what happened to my mom. She was her sugar was so high that she hit her toe and she didn't realize that her toe was damaged. The nerves were damaged, so you can't have any feeling. You don't feel anymore. So her toe got damaged, and her toe started to, there was a wound, and the wound eventually started to get worse and worse and worse. And she had no idea, and eventually they had to start amputating. And by the time they start amputating, it got so worse that it started to become gangrene. And my mother never wanted to be an amputee, so she was kind of rejecting the amputation. She was like, I don't want it, I don't want it, let's try this, let's try that. But it was too late because there was so much damage done already. So this one is a big one, nerve damage, because the sugar coats the cells, and the oxygen and the nutrients and whatever those small tiny blood vessels need, capillaries need, they can't get to it because the cell is so fat because of so much sugar around it. So that's a big one. And then as a result of nerve damage, as a result of that, you have poor wound healing. Exactly what I said happened to my mom with her toe. It could not heal properly. So you want to make sure that you take care of your body, because diabetes can cause heart disease, stroke, kidney disease, kidney failure, vision loss, because in your eyes they have those small cells, those small vessels for your eyes to see. So you want to take care of your body with that as well. Now, I'll give you 4 natural ways to help manage diabetes. So 4 natural ways you can help manage diabetes and take your health into control, or bring your diabetic condition under control, whether you have prediabetes or diabetes. You can eat a balanced diet rich in vegetables, whole grains, legumes, and healthy fats. So increase your vegetable intake, more specifically broccoli, spinach. I'm going to give you some foods at the end of what you can use. Whole grains, I use a lot of lentils. Lentils is very good. Use a lot of beans. And healthy fats. Healthy fat is avocado. You need healthy fats. Healthy fats help to support the brain. The monosaturated fat in the body help to support the brain, and the oleic acid in avocados is very good for you. Exercise for at least 30 minutes a day. Now, exercise is very important if you have prediabetes or diabetes, because what exercise does, exercise help the muscles or the body to break down the excess sugar in the body. The muscles love sugar. So when you exercise, especially when you walk, the big muscles in your feet and your leg, they absorb, they pull that sugar because muscles want sugar. So you can do some heavy weights, you can do some walking, some biking, because the muscles are going to try to take that excess sugar. And if you do this every day for at least 30 minutes, you can do 150 minutes per week. So that's 5 days per week. Make sure you try to get 5 days of exercise per week, 30 minutes each. You can do 50 minutes walking, 50 minutes biking. You don't have to do it all 30 minutes one shot. You can do 50 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes in the afternoon, but just make sure you keep moving. A body that's moving is going to burn that sugar. Once you start slowing down, that sugar starts accumulating. Something I'm going to add into that is once the sugar starts to accumulate in the body, it goes directly around the stomach section. It's called visceral fat. It goes right here and it stores up and it builds around the liver, the kidneys, and the body. So it stores here. So you want to keep moving. Now, and that goes on to my next point. So you want to maintain a healthy weight, because once you stop exercising and that sugar starts to stay in the blood, stay in the body, it starts to store itself as fat, and then you start gaining a lot of weight. You will see your face gets puffy, your stomach gets big, you start to get sluggish. And as you gain more weight, you start to feel sluggish, you start to feel more tired, more fatigued. So you definitely want to focus on maintaining a healthy weight. Losing weight is very good if you're pre-diabetes or diabetic. It will really help you if you can shed off some of that excess weight, because excess fat just clogs up the whole system. And that excess fat is just stored sugar that you can burn. Another thing that you can do is fasting. I didn't put it on here because you should consult your physician to know if you can fast. Intermittent fasting really helps to burn sugar or excess fat in the body, because once you fast, your body goes into that self-preservation mode where your body will start to feed on the excess fat, that stored sugar on the fat, to feed off of that to give your body the energy that it needs. Now, the other one is get enough sleep and manage stress. Stress is a very big one. Stress really elevates sugar level in the body. So if you find that you have a lot of stress in your life, at your job, at your home, wherever you are, try to reduce the amount of stress, because stress puts your body in a fight or flight mode, and it makes your body releases a hormone called cortisol, and cortisol elevates sugar levels. So this is going to really keep your sugar high and make you fall into that diabetic phase or pre-diabetic phase. Sleep is a big one. You want to make sure that you're getting enough sleep, because when you sleep, as I mentioned earlier, your body tends to heal and rejuvenate itself. If you're sleeping just 5 hours or 4 hours, that's not good. You're not giving your body enough time to heal, the liver to detox the body at night. The liver really kicks in at night and do some detox work. You're not allowing the liver to do its work. So manage your stress, manage your sleep. I'm going to go over this quickly again. So you want to eat a balanced diet rich in vegetables, your leafy green vegetables, kale, spinach, broccoli. Eat as much leafy green vegetables, whole grain, beans, legume, and healthy fats like avocados. Exercise. I'm going to stress this. You must exercise. Try to get exercise every day. Try to lose some weight. It's going to really help you, and get enough sleep. It's going to be a big one. 10 plant-based foods for your diabetes. As I mentioned, I'm going to give you some foods. So spinach really helps. These are good foods. Spinach, broccoli, avocados, lentils, and chickpeas. Something about these foods is that you get your protein, you get your vitamins, you get your oleic acid, you get a lot of highly nutrients. You get protein, you get from flax seeds, you get magnesium, you get vitamin C, you get vitamin K, vitamin E from avocados. So you have spinach, broccoli, avocados, lentils, chickpeas, oats, quinoa, blueberry, almonds, and chia seeds. These are very good for you. Almonds and chia seeds, they have magnesium, which the body needs, and also you get potassium. You need some potassium as well, so you'll get that from these foods as well. So what's the key takeaway from today's presentation? The key takeaway is this. You should remember this. Small daily habits can make a big difference. It always does. Start small, but just make sure that you get into the momentum of doing what you're supposed to do. Moving your body, eating more vegetables. If you have a plate, make sure that you eat more vegetables on your plate and less of the carbs, because most of that carbs will turn to sugar. So if you eat a lot of rice and just a little bit of vegetables and then a big side of stew, try to reduce the amount of rice, increase the vegetable, and maybe just a medium amount of stew. The rice should be the smallest amount on your plate. So small daily habits can make a big difference. Eat well, stay active, monitor your blood sugar. As I mentioned, get one of those at-home test kits. If you have any of the symptoms that I've mentioned, it's pretty cheap. You can find them at any of the pharmacies or Walmart or wherever you shop. I'm sure you'll find it. It's just called a blood sugar test kit. You'll find it even on Amazon. You'll find that. I'm not promoting anybody, but you should get one. Monitor your blood sugar and work with your healthcare provider to reduce the risk of diabetes complication. You should know what it is. You should monitor it because, like I mentioned, you don't want it to get worse, because over time, if you do nothing, it can damage your nerves, it can damage your eye, it can damage your heart, it can damage your kidney, and then you'll have a whole bunch of complications. Thank you for watching. I hope that this video made diabetes easy for you to understand the causes, symptoms, and prevention, and what you can do right now to start reversing your prediabetes or diabetes. It starts with daily simple steps. You just start taking those steps and it will help you. Please remember to subscribe, like, and share a video with your family or friends or anyone who you know is suffering from diabetes or prediabetes. And I want you to remember that your health is your wealth. Take those small steps today so that you'll be better tomorrow. You know, the worst thing you want is to be in a situation where you have a problem and then it becomes a burden on your life. Your health is truly your wealth. So remember to subscribe, because I'll be posting more health videos like this on a regular basis. And I hope that the video was very straightforward and you understand clearly more about diabetes and what you need to do to take care of your body. Until the next time, stay healthy. And as I mentioned, your health is your wealth.